This house kind of came together when several of us parents who have kids who were growing up, and some of them are adults, were ready to leave our houses. So Michael was graduating from college, Will had just graduated from college, and Kelvin had been living with his father and was anxiously waiting for the opportunity to move out into their own. So we worked together and talked together for years about what if. When the guys were ready to really move out on their own, would they want to live together? Could they live together? And how would we put this together?
That's because no prior model existed to help these families with this challenge of 3 men with disabilities buying a home together. One challenge was finding the proper structure, but with some patience, there it was.
So late one night, this house that we ended up getting, the guys bought, was on the market.
It had solid potential, but it would need to be rehabbed to make it work for 3 men using wheelchairs. The whole back of the house would have to be gutted, small confining rooms enlarged, and workable bathrooms installed. An equally daunting challenge was financing a home purchased for 3 men with disabilities, living on Social Security and other limited income resources, and no credit rating. But the families found caring organizations equal to the task.
We worked with Health Law Project and Regional Housing Legal Services and PHFA, and we're in constant conversation with how do we do this, in what order do we do these things, how do we get the mortgage, and first thing they said, well, you have to call a lender. Okay, now is a lender going to understand this model? Well, luckily the people at PHFA said, here are 3 people, call one of these 3. And it didn't take that long. I mean, given that this was a new concept and they hadn't done something like a limited equity partnership before with 3 guys who had no credit, it didn't take that long. It was a couple of months.
With the finances secured and the closing paperwork completed, work on the home could begin.
Well, we made a lot of changes in half of the house, and we didn't have to make many changes at all in the other half of the house. So the living room and dining room were already very open spaces. But the other half of the house was like a little rabbit warren of 2 bedrooms, 2 small bathrooms, and an office. So we gutted that area and made 3 bedrooms of pretty similar sizes, plus a bank of 2 bathroom areas, 2 toilet sinks areas, and a roll-in shower. We lowered the windows so that all 3 guys using their wheelchairs have real access to looking outside. So we made the windows bigger and lower. We put in 2 centers in every room for electronics so that you could be as wired as you want to be. It had a 1-step entrance. So what we did was ramp it softly so that everybody could roll in. We widened the doorway. We moved the doorway over. And then with their waivers, we used some of that money to have electronics put in so that there's a sensor that the guys can have. They have a fob, they can automatically open the door, and then a motion sensor for Michael so that he can kind of come in and go out as he needs.
Yes, the house has been transformed, but in the process, so have the lives of 3 men who live together.
Being able to find a place like this and knowing that he would be able to go there and lead the kind of life that he wanted to leave meant a great deal.
He's become wonderfully responsible for things in his life and his work.
There's a special piece of artwork that hangs in the living room, a tapestry that reflects the transformation that's taken place.
A friend of mine, who I've known through going through the school system with Michael, when she knew that Michael, Kelvin, and Will were going to move into this house together, quilted that. It's 3 strong trees under one roof with their leaves and branches going out in different directions, but under one house, one roof, living together and being connected. We can now age without worrying about where Michael, Kelvin, and Will are going to live, who's going to help take care of them. They've got their services that are separate from housing, which is a really big concept here of the provider does not own the house. Michael, Kelvin, and Will own the house. They are the only ones on the deed. This is their house. They each, all three, have different service providers to provide them the services that they need. The primary one for all three is attendant care, and all three work with different agencies. It's up to them. They're the ones in charge. But we wanted to make sure they had a stable, consistent, accessible house, and that's what we got with PHFA.